Посмотри, лишил тебя сна. Проснувшись с утра, болит голова, а время бежит неустанно вперед, и внутренний голос золотая.
Into the Storm is a 2014 disaster film that was directed by Stephen Quayle. I just got back from a screening to this, and the plot is, well, this is a found footage movie. And you follow these groups of characters, each and every one of them having their own camera, and you're basically seeing them get in the middle of this storm, this tornado, this big disaster that is probably the worst storm that's ever hit anywhere. And so you're trying to watch them survive this day. Now, what I thought of Into the Storm was, I surprisingly enjoyed this film. And the reason why this is such a surprise, at least for me, is because there has been quite a few screenings for this movie the last couple of weeks, and I've sort of been avoiding them for some reason. I don't really know why. Maybe it has something to do with me not thinking this movie was going to be all that great or worth talking about. But I'm glad I did check this out because, like I said, I enjoyed it. The fact that it's found footage, I will admit, when I first saw that, when the movie first started and you saw these high school kids with a camera, and then there's the storm that happens, one of them even gets out of the car to get a closer look to record the storm, and you're like, you asshole. And I thought, alright, this whole movie is probably going to be like this, filled with characters doing stupid shit just to get that shot, and I'm going to not care about anyone, and there you go. But even with that, I feel like it made sense for this to be found footage. I'm not somebody who hates found footage films. There's a few found footage movies that I like if it's done well, and once it got into who these characters were, like, you meet this one group who, it's basically their job to go out and chase storms and record them and document them. So it made sense for them to have cameras and to be going into the storm. So they made the most sense. This high school kid, one in particular, I think his name was Donnie, he's supposed to record the high school graduation, but he likes this girl, Caitlin, and he wants to help her out on this project. So he goes off with her, the two of them, with a camera, and they get stuck in this storm. And when the building basically collapses on top of them and they get stuck under debris, and then it starts to fill up with water, that was pretty intense. And I really was pulling for those characters. I thought the acting all the way around was pretty good. And I didn't dislike anyone, really. You did have these two redneck characters who, like, at first they were really funny because they were just really dumb, and you see that they record themselves doing stupid stunts for their YouTube channel. They're trying to get like 1 million hits, so when the storm happens, they go after it and they're like, woohoo, look at us do all this stupid stuff. And like I said, they're funny, but after a while it started to get a little annoying, and I kind of went, alright, I really don't care if these guys get killed, as messed up as that sounds. The action in this movie was pretty impressive. There's one scene in particular where, again, this is where I think the found footage style helped. The high school gets hit by the storm, and all of the kids go into the high school, and they're basically like stuck in there while the ceilings and the lockers are just completely tearing and ripping apart. The high school, pretty much this whole town is destroyed. But that scene in particular, it just really was like, wow, this is intense. And this looks really good. The film was made for like $50 million, which I guess is a good amount, but for a movie like this, for the scale that they were aiming for, hell, to me it looked like a $100 million film. I'm really impressed with what they were able to pull off. I thought the CGI looked good. I thought the moments where you saw the tornado literally ripping through the houses, buildings, and the destruction, seeing the aftermath of when it went past a town, it was insane. And it's non-stop action. There's one character I want to mention, Pete. I want to mention him because not only was he a guy who was all about the job and he almost didn't care if people got killed because he's like, I gotta document this. It's my job. But he drove this tank that looked exactly like the Tumbler, the Batmobile from the Dark Knight movies. And it was badass. The fact that you had this real thing that reminded me of the Batmobile, and seeing the gadgets that it could do, and the fact that it could pretty much withstand any type of tornado, it was awesome. I want this thing so bad. And the characters, when they were in peril, when stuff did happen to them, the end of the movie where they're basically trapped under the tornado, there's one moment where one of the characters is sort of in the middle of it, and you see just how kind of beautiful, while being terrifying, this tornado, this situation is. So again, this movie, Into the Storm, it's a pleasant surprise. I'm surprised by how much I enjoyed it. I would definitely give this a matinee. Go out to a theater at a matinee price to check this movie out. It's surprisingly worth it. It's a shame because I don't think a lot of people are going to go out to see it, because it is sort of a random movie plucked out there. I know one of the characters, Allison, is played by, if anyone watches The Walking Dead, which I'm sure you do, a lot of you do, Lori, Rick's wife. And I thought it was funny to see her in here because she is good, but I bet some people, when they know that, won't want to see it because they don't like her from the show. But anyways, guys, let me know in the comments below if you have any interest in seeing Into the Storm. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Later!